In today's class, we are going to learn about thread synchronization. In the last class, we learned about thread priorities. We have an option of setting the priority. Like we can give some threads highest priority and some threads least priority, so that if there is a chance, the processor can act according to the priority whatever we have given, right? And we also know like how to convert a class to a thread, and that can be done by using a thread class or a runnable interface. All these things we have learned in the last class. Now in today's class we'll see about thread synchronization. Now what actually this thread synchronization is? In the name itself it is telling like synchronization. That means there should be some option where we can have where we can have or we can control the way we are executing the threads. Now what is the use of this thread synchronization is, suppose you have a shared resource. Now if the shared resource is accessed by multiple threads, in that case we need to have a synchronization concept where the shared resource can be used by only one thread at once, and other threads who are all requesting that shared resource can be kept in a blocked state. Now, what is the requirement of having the accessing controlling of these shared resources? I'll tell you with a I'll take simple example and then I'll let you know. Okay, so to understand this concept, what I'll do is we will be considering one shared resource. Follow carefully all of what I'm telling. We'll take one shared resource, and as it is told like a shared resource, to understand the concept, we'll take two threads. And if you are trying to use the, if the two threads are trying to use the same shared resource, then what is the problem we'll be facing, that I'll let you know. Okay, so what we are going to do is, let us consider one code. Okay, so what is the code we are going to consider is, I want to have a application called bank application. Okay, following all of you, what is the thing I'm going to take? Let us consider a bank application. So in the bank applications, what is the thing we have is withdrawal option, isn't it or not? So whenever we want to perform any withdrawal option, what is the thing we are going to do? We will be checking the amount whatever the customer is going to give the amount, and whenever the amount is going to give whenever the customer gives the amount, it has to be checked with the balance amount. So if the amount what is given is less than the balance amount, then the withdrawal option is possible, right? So what is the thing we have is, in a bank application we have a method called withdraw, and in this withdraw method we have two steps. What are the two steps? Let us consider the first step is, for our understanding, I'll write this one as my step 1. So what is our first step is, if whatever balance we have is greater than whatever withdraw amount, let us consider the amount is stored in a variable called amount. In that case, what is the thing we need to do? This is the step 1, let us consider. Okay, if the balance amount is greater than the amount whatever requested to withdraw, then in that case we need to have a step 2. What is that step 2 is, we want to remove that, we want to update our balance where the balance amount will be equal to balance minus amount, isn't it or not? So this is the thing we want to do. So we need to follow a two-step process, where in these two steps we are going to perform a withdraw option. Now why I have taken this application? Because let us take one real-time application where let us consider there is an account. Okay, and that account, let us consider is a common account. So let us consider this is one account. Okay, so in this account, you know, all like there are multiple types of account, like single account or a joint account, like that, isn't it or not? So I am taking one account where in that account the amount that is available is 5,000. Follow carefully what I'm telling. So this is an account that is, so let us consider this is one account 1. Okay, now this account 1 is under the name of two customers. Let us consider. So the two customers, let us consider customer 1. Because it is a joint account, this will be under the control of two customers. Okay, are you following all of you? That means as it is a joint account, customer 1 can access this account and customer 2 also wants to access this account. Now that means these two want to perform the operations. Let us consider these two want to perform the operation of withdrawal at the same time. Understood all of you what I am telling? These two want to perform the operation at the same time. In such a case, what we need to do, we will be considering the threads option always, where this will be considered as one thread and this will be also considered as one thread. Isn't it? So as we have a what is that, a multi-threading option, so we can perform simultaneous execution of both the threads. Now what is the thread we are considering here? C1 wants to perform the withdraw option and C also wants to perform the withdraw option. Okay, so what we are doing, whenever this withdraw is your thread, now this withdraw, which wherever it is available in that class is now thread. Now C1 wants to perform the withdraw and C2 wants to perform the withdraw. Now as both are threads, now both can be done at the simultaneous. Simultaneous is nothing but sometimes C1 thread will be executed and sometimes C2 thread will be executed. Let us call this one as T1. Okay, let us call this thread as T1, which is belonging to customer C1, and let us call this thread as T2, which belongs to customer T2. Now, whenever you are having a multi-threading option and an application of this bank where you are performing the withdrawal option, now what is the possibility of any mistakes happen? So to understand this one, what we'll do is, let us take one scenario. So in this scenario, let us take step by step how the approaches will be done. Are you following, all of you? Now let us consider we have two threads. T1 is one thread. T1 is one thread and you have another step called T2. Now let us consider, as we are following a what is that one called as multi-threading concept, where sometimes T1 thread will be executed that belongs to customer C1 and sometimes T2 thread will be given. Now let us consider C1 wants to withdraw an amount of 3000, okay, and C2 wants to withdraw an amount of also of 4000. Are you following, all of you, what I am telling? C1 wants to withdraw an amount of 3000 and C2 wants to withdraw an amount of 4000. Now, in this case, what happens if you are following a thread synchronization concept? Let us see how this will going to happen. Now, as this is multi-threading concept, some time will be given to T1. Let us consider first chance is given to T1. Now, T1 wants to perform a withdraw amount of 3000. So, it has started this withdraw amount and it has performed a step 1. Now, first step is done. Step 1 is done. Now, what is that? Step 1 is done. Now, as the step 1 is done, let us consider now the chance is given to C2. Now, in the step 1, what happens? The balance amount is greater than amount what is requested. Yes, the balance amount is 5000, which is greater than 3000. So, for T1, the condition has become true. Now, immediately after executing this T1 thread, the processor is given a chance to execute thread T2. In that case, what happens? Thread T2 will be starting executing. In that case, again T2 will start this step 1 where it will check the balance is greater than amount or not. Yes, the balance is 5000 now and the amount that is requested by the customer C2 is 4000 only. In that case, step 1 is also executed, and in both the cases you will get a condition of true only. Here we'll get a condition of true. Here also we'll get a condition of true only. Why? Because in both the cases, as we are simultaneously executing the things, because it is multi-threading concept, for both the cases you are getting a output of true only. The condition will be satisfied and true. Now, once this is done, let us consider again the processor is switching to this thread. Now, this thread, as it is true now, it will go to the step 2 where the balance equal to balance minus amount will be done. Now, what is the step 2 now? What is the balance amount? We have 5000. Now, this 5000 amount will be now changed to, what is the amount? The balance, this 5000 amount will be now changed to 5000 minus 3000, which is 2000. That will be changed to 2000. Are you following, all of you? Now this is done. After this, the thread T2 will get the chance and it is now going to execute the step 2. Now this also for this thread also the condition is true because it is already executed and the condition become true. Now it will enter into the if statement and it will execute the second step. Okay, now as it is executing the second step, what happens here? Now this 2000, it will perform the operation of balance equal to balance minus amount. So 2000 minus 4000. What is the value you will be getting here? You will get a value of minus 2000. Are you understanding? Now, if you see here, this data, whatever we are getting finally is invalid data. Isn't it or not? The balance should not be in a negative value. And if the already a customer even already retrieved a value amount of 3000 from the available balance, in such a case, we should not allow C2 to again perform a withdraw option. But here what happened, if you see the way how the flow of execution happen, because we have a multi-threading option where both the threads can be executed simultaneously. So in such a case, so we have taken one scenario that may not be the case always, but this is a scenario where if one step by step, if each the thread is given an option to execute, then what happens? There will be a chance like there will be a inconsistency in the data where even though the amount is not there, the customer will be given a chance to withdraw the data and whatever final data we are storing in the account is invalid data. We can't store a data in negatives in your account, isn't it or not? So such a problem is possible by using your multi-threading option. This is a one application and this is one scenario where we can see like there is an inconsistency in the data. Right now, to solve this problem, what we need to do is we need to have a synchronization option where using this synchronization, suppose if it is a common property, in this case our account is your shared resource, isn't it or not? So if there is a shared resource, if one thread is using that shared resource, we should not allow the other threads to use that shared resource. In our case, the account is a shared resource. If one customer, if even though it is a joint account, if one customer is using that account, then another customer is not allowed to use the things from that account. Until and unless this customer performs all the transactions on that account, this customer has to wait. So that can be done by using this synchronization concept. I hope you all are clear with this single example of what actually synchronization is. We are going to learn this one through example program also. I hope you all are clear with this concept of what actually the requirement of having synchronization in our Java. This is very important. Why? Because if you're taking shared resources, as we have a multi-threading concept, there may be a chance like inconsistency in the data. So to prevent the consistency problem, which is the main advantage of synchronization, to prevent the consistency in the consistency problem, we will be going with the synchronization concept. Is this clear to you all? What is the requirement of having synchronization in Java? Is this clear to you all? Right. Now, synchronization, as you all are clear with why we need to go with the synchronization. Now, let us see how that synchronization can be achieved through programs in Java programming. Okay. So, whenever you want to achieve synchronization, we have two ways to achieve the synchronization. First way is we can use synchronized block. We can use a block where that block can be considered as synchronized. So, synchronized block can be used, or you have a second option where you can use synchronized method also. So we are going to learn these two ways to achieve the synchronization. Okay, the first way is a block of statements can be made synchronized, and the second way is a method can be made synchronized. What is the meaning of having the synchronization is whether the block or a method, whichever is made synchronized. Now, if one thread is using that, the other thread is not allowed to use that, that block or that method. Now, how to do that one? All these things we are going to learn now. Understood? So let us see the first way of doing the things where a synchronized block, if you are using a synchronized block, then how the synchronization can be ensured and all we'll see now. Okay, keep your heading all of you. a block will be made as a will be converted as a synchronized block. Now to do this one, what we'll do is let us write our application first, where the same application I'm taking of creating an account, and in the two customers I'll be creating, and they will be accessing the account to perform the withdraw option. And what are all the possible problems are there without synchronization, we'll see that first, and then we'll see the synchronized block option. Okay, so now what we'll do is let us create one class first. So that class is account. You all know what is in an account. Always the variable that we are going to use is balance, isn't it or not? So for each account there will be a balance variable. I'm taking the minimal variables that does not make it much complex. What are all the things we have discussed in the example? Only those variables I'm taking. Okay. So in an account we'll have a balance. Now that means this balance need to be initialized. So that can be done by using your account constructor. You all familiar with this one, right? So I will be taking balance as a variable, and if you want to initialize this one, what you need to do, you need to use, because the variables both are same, I am using this operator. Okay, balance. Up to here, all are clear. I have taken a variable called balance, and that balance is initialized. Right? Now, in an account, we can perform a withdraw option also. So, I am writing a method called withdraw. Okay. Now, whenever you want to perform any withdraw, you need to send a value also. Like you need to send a amount, what amount you need to withdraw. So, for that, I am sending an amount, and also I want to send the user name also, whoever is trying to perform the withdraw. Okay. So, string the customer name also I'm trying to get. I hope you all are following. So what I'm trying to do, whenever a withdraw option is performed, you need to ask the user to tell what is the amount, and the person who is also performing the withdraw option also I'm doing. Now, whenever the amount is getting in the withdraw option, what we need to check? We need to check, is the balance greater than the amount what is given or not. If it is greater, then only in that case, what we need to perform, we need to update our balance, where the balance should be equal to balance minus amount. The coding and all is very simple. I'm not making that much complicated. Now, once the balance is updated, I just want to have an output statement to the customer saying like, you are the person who has done this operation. Okay. So for that, what I'm doing, I am just adding the name here. Whoever the person is performing this withdraw, his name I'm adding here, that we are passing as an argument. And then after that, I want to have an output statement saying like, you have withdrawn this much of amount. You have withdrawn how much amount? That amount I want to display. And also I want to display what is that one? Final balance also. Okay. Are you understanding what is the statement I'm writing? After performing the withdraw option, I want to display to the user like, you have withdrawn this much of amount, and your balance is. Okay, so the balance is available in the balance variable. So up to here, all are clear, I think. Okay, so this is how the withdrawn or balance amount or withdraw option is performed. Now, if the balance is not greater than the amount, in that case, we need to have an else option, where I just want to have an output statement saying like insufficient amount. Okay, because we can't perform withdraw if the amount is greater than the available balance. Okay, so this is what the withdraw method will be. So in the withdraw, what we are doing, we are asking the amount, and we are passing the customer name also, and also in that, what we are doing, we are checking with the balance. If the balance is greater, then only we are updating the balance, and we are displaying the amount withdrawn and the balance available. And if this is not if it is not satisfying, we are just simply displaying like his name or the person name we are displaying, and saying like insufficient amount. Okay, so this is about your account. So up from here to here, this is about your account. Now you have done your account part. Now we need to create our customer, right? So class customer I am creating. Now each customer will be having, okay. Now each customer will be having account, isn't it or not? So what is the variable that we have? Already we have an account class. For this account class, so each customer is assigned with one account. Right? So I'm generalizing the customer class. Later on, we will be creating multiple customers. And if you want to make a joint account, same account number we need to pass. That's it. Okay. So for the customer, you will have a customer account name, and you will be having the string his name also. Right? What is the name of that customer also we are going to take. Now we need to assign the values for these two. So for that, what we need to do, we need to use our customer constructor. Right? And how we are going to do? We are taking, what is the first one? First one is account. That is the first thing we need to assign. And the next one is we need to assign this one also. So that if both the names are same, we need to do that one by using this operator. Is it or not? So this dot ACC equal to ACC. I'm using the same variable name so that there will not be any confusion. This dot name equal to name. Okay, now what I want to do is, as I want to convert this customer to a thread, what I want to do, I want to convert this one to thread. So you can use an option of extends thread. Because I told you, no, customers only will be converted to thread. You can see here. You can see here, customers are the way the customers performing this one by one statement execution, they will be considered as a thread. So to convert that class to a thread, we can use extends threads, or you can go with implements runnable. Okay. Now, as we have converted this one to the thread, what are all the options we want to convert as a thread? That has to be written in a method called void run method. You all know this because run method is required in a thread. So in this, what I'm going to do is, I will be asking the user to enter what is the amount you want to withdraw. Okay. So for asking the user, you need to use the scanner class, isn't it or not? Scanner s equal to new scanner. So whenever you are using a scanner, I think you need to import java.util.start. So let's write that one now itself. So import java.util.start. Why I'm writing this one? Because we are using the scanner. I think util. Okay. Now, once the scanner this is taken, we can ask the user. Let us write. Okay, not this one. I'll have one output statement asking the user to enter the amount, what amount you want to withdraw. Okay. Okay. I just want to ask the name I want to add here, and after adding the name, I want to ask the user enter amount to withdraw. Okay, after this, whatever value you are giving, no, that value I want to store in a variable called AMT. And how you are going to store that one? S dot next int. Yeah, there is a mistake. SYS. Thank you very much. There is a mistake here. Right. Okay, next int. Is this clear, all of you? So what we have done, whatever amount the user want to withdraw, that we have stored here. Now what we need to do, we have an account here. So through this account, we can call a method called withdraw method, where through this withdraw account, we need to pass the amount. What is the amount we have? We have our amount here. So how we can call that one? We can call ACC. Our account is ACC, isn't it or not? So ACC dot, what is the method name? The method name is withdraw, and it requires two parameters. So let us copy this one and then we'll modify here. Okay. And what is the amount? The amount is stored in AMT and the name is stored in the name variable itself. Are you following what I have done? I have taken a thread. In that thread, a run method is written where I'm asking the user to enter the withdraw amount, and the amount is stored in AMT, and that amount I'm passing to a withdraw method along with the name also, whatever the name may be. Okay, so this is about your customer. I hope you all are clear up to here. This is our customer class. Now I think here I need to close this. Okay, now let us start our main method now. What is let us call the main method as EX class EX synchronization. Just for our understanding, I'm writing like this. Okay, now in this I'm writing my main method string args. Okay. Now in the main method, what we need to do first, we need to create one account because we have an account class, and that account has to be assigned to the customer, isn't it or not? So first, whenever you're creating any account, we need to set one some balance into that account. That is what we have done here. So what we need to do, let us create one account. We are creating an object A1 equal to new account, and let us consider the minimum balance for this one is 5,000. Now what happens for A1 account, the minimum balance is set as 5,000. This is how the constructor will be called, and the balance is set. Up to here, clear. Now this account has to be connected with the customers, isn't it or not? So to do that, we need to use our customer class where first customer is created. Observe here, whenever you are creating a customer, we are passing the account name, and also we are passing the name of the customer also. Okay, so that means whenever you are creating first customer, the first thing we need to pass is account name. What is our account name? I want A1 to be connected with the first customer, and let us consider the first customer name is Jyoti. Okay, and as we are talking about a joint account, let us create one more customer. Okay, and that customer is C2, and this C2 is also connected with the same customer, and let us call the second customer name is Srika. Understood all of you? So we have created two customers. Let me take this one as 2. We have created two customers, and two customers are connected with the same account. The names are different, and the account will be having a balance of 5,000. Is that clear all of you until this now? Now, as the customer C1 and C2 both are threads, if you want to run this method, what is the thing we need to use? We need to use, because we are using threads concept, we need to use C1 dot start, and we need to use C2 dot start. Now, whenever you are writing like this, what is the thing? It is nothing but we are performing multi-thread option. Now, if here we have not used any synchronization concept as of now. Normally, we have taken one account class, we have taken one customer class, and this customer we have converted that one into thread where we have written the run method, and we are executing these statements by running this run method. How can we run this run method? By writing c1.start and c2.start. So if you are writing like this, it is nothing but both the customers can perform this one parallelly, like synchronously, not synchronously, like sequentially, simultaneously, both can be executed. Understand all of you? So let us run this program first and see how the output is displayed. If any errors are also there, let us see all those things. Okay, first I think we need to save this. Okay, so I'm done saving. So compile our program. What is our program name? EX. Okay. Okay, so this is our program. Now, if any errors are there, that will be displayed. So no errors are there. So it has been successfully compiled. So let us execute the program and check how the output will be. Okay. EX. Okay. Now, if you see here, it will be asking, see, it is asking as both the customers, if you see here, as both the customers execution is started, that means both can be executed sequentially or both can be executed simultaneously. Then what happens here? It is asking first customer Jyoti to enter the amount, and second customer also it is requesting to enter the amount. So that means I need to give two values. Let us consider the first person wants to perform a withdrawal of 4,000. Okay. And second person wants to perform a withdrawal of 3,000. That means 4,000 belongs to the person first customer and 3,000 belongs to the person second customer, like this. Now in this case, that means 4,000, this should be done first. So we'll see how this will be done, how the output will be now. Okay. What is happening here? Why it is not displaying anything? I think I have given the output. Input is given. It has to display some output, right? So we'll see what is going here. So we have given two values, and these two values will come here. Okay. The name and account are assigned, and then we are running this method. It is asking the value to enter the value. Okay. And that is stored in the amount, right? And it is asking the amount to be withdrawn. So we have done it clear. This process is right. Yeah. You can see here, what is the output we are getting? You have withdrawn 3,000, and then for Srikar, it is showing the insufficient. This time, if you are executing, you got the correct way of output only. But there may be a chance, like second time, if you are executing, we can't predict the output. Why? Because both are executing simultaneously only. It is asking again the output, again the value. So I'm giving 5,000, I'm giving 3,000. Okay. In that case, you can see here, you are getting the output like this. So this is one way of getting the output. Sometimes you may get a output saying like both can perform the withdraw option because both are performing simultaneously. Then what happens? Your balance, whatever you get, is a negative value. You can see here the way how I explained you in the example. What you can see here, you may get a chance of getting a negative value. Here, if you are running one more time, let us see whether we can see that output or not, because we can't predict the way how the processor is switching between the processes, between the threads, isn't it or not? So it will be asking us to enter the values. So I'll give, see here, you can see here, earlier it is asking this customer to enter the value first, but here you can see this, the processor is giving the priority to the second customer first. We can't predict the output, how it is getting, okay? But there should be an option where, see, whatever we are talking, that has occurred here. See, the balance, it is showing negative, which is not at all acceptable, which is talking about this is inconsistency in the data, isn't it or not? We should not get our balance 2,000 minus, and it should not allow 4,000, 3,000, both the customers to get the withdraw option to be active, isn't it or not? If first person 4,000 is withdrawn by the customer Srikar, the balance is updated as 1,000. Why? Because 5,000 minus 4,000 is 1,000. You can't allow Jyoti to again get the value of 3,000, isn't it or not? Whatever we are talking, that we got the output here now. I hope you are getting this problem. Now, to solve this problem, what is the thing we can do is, I have shown you here, where we can have an option of synchronizing the statements. Like we can group or we can group a block of statements into synchronized, where if one thread is allowed to enter into that block, another thread should be waiting to get a chance. So when it will get a chance, until and unless the thread which is inside that synchronized block should not be entered into that block. Okay. Okay, see how to do that one. I'll show you through this program. Now, what is our problem here? From here onwards, what I want to do, all these three statements I want to make in synchronous. Why? Because if the first customer is requesting for the withdraw, we should not allow the second customer with the same account to withdraw this one. So to do that one, what is the thing we need to use? Synchronized blocks. Now how to use the synchronized blocks? We have a syntax for that one. The syntax will be like this. Note down the syntax, all of you. Syntax to use the synchronized block. We need to use a keyword called synchronized. Okay, and in that we need to use one parameter. That parameter is a common parameter whichever we are going to use, where we need to use the object reference. That will be our parameter. Okay, and then we need to put all the statements whichever we want to make as its synchronization. That means whichever thread enters into this block, other thread will be outside of this synchronized block until and unless first thread whichever enters into this block comes out, that will not be given the chance. So to do that, what we are doing, let us come back to our program so that it will be clear to you all. Here you can see customer 1, if it is asking to perform the withdraw option, that means the amount to be withdraw if you are asking, that means customer 2 should not be asked to again to enter the amount, and it should not allow to perform the withdraw method. To do that, what we can do, all from here to here, we can make it as a synchronized block. Okay, so how can we do that? How can we do that? I am telling from here to here, isn't it or not? So from here to here, I want to make it as a synchronized, right? So how to make it synchronized? Make it as a block and use the keyword called synchronized, and use what is the variable we need to use here? We need to use an object reference. That is the common thing. What is our common thing here? Account name, whatever account name we have. Understood all of you what I'm doing here? So this has been made synchronized. So if customer 1 enters into here, we don't know whether customer 1 starts for or customer 2 starts for. Whoever first enters into this block, they will block this one so that other customer cannot be allowed into this one. And until and unless he performs his withdraw operation and a balance is updated, then the other customer will be allowed to use this block of statement. So to do that, we'll see. Let us first save this program. We'll go back to our command prompt. I'll compile this program once again. We'll see any errors are there. Okay, no errors are there. We'll run our program. Now, while running the program, see here, it is the second customer execution started first. We don't know whoever can starts first. Why? Because it is totally processor dependent. So the chance is given to the second customer first. So only that person is allowed to ask to enter the amount. We can see even though customer Jyoti is also want to perform the withdraw option, we are not allowing them to enter into this block. Why? Because it is synchronized. Now the Jyoti customer statement is stopped here only. It is waiting for its chance. Now until and unless this customer performs all his operations, this Jyoti customer will not be getting the chance. Okay, first let us consider I am withdrawing an amount of 3,000. Okay. Now you have withdrawn, the balance you have is 5,000 minus 3,000 is 2,000. Now it is asking the person, the customer Jyoti, to enter the amount. In that case, if you give, let us consider 4,000, then you will be getting an output saying like insufficient amount. But earlier we have observed the output saying like sometimes both will be performed the withdraw option and the balance will be going into the negatives, but that should not happen, and that problem is solved by using a word called synchronizing the block of statements. I hope you all are clear with this concept of synchronizing the block of statements. Is this clear to you all? This is the first way where we have an option where some block of statements you want to make it as a synchronize. Suppose if you want to make all the statements in the method, if you see here, only from here to here I want to make it as a synchronizer, but there may be a chance like in a method all the statements you want to make it as a block. In such a case, what we can do, we can convert that complete method to also as a block. Okay, how can we do that one? Let us consider the withdraw option also I want to perform here only. I've already done that program. I'll show you that how that can be done. I'll show you. Okay. Okay, what we'll do is we'll open that program. Okay. I think I've done that program. Yeah, this is the program. You all can see here what I've done. In this program, same class I have taken, and you can see here whatever withdraw method I have taken, that method I have made as synchronized. Instead of going with a synchronized block of statements, if in a method all the statements, like if you want to make only this block as synchronized, then you can use a synchronized block. But if you want to make all the statements as synchronized, then instead of going with a block, just convert that method as a synchronized. Okay, so what we are doing, just the withdraw method I am making it synchronized. Then what happens? That means if one customer is requesting for this withdraw, other customer will not be allowed. Same old technique, but this is the one way. Okay, the same example I have taken, where in the run method I am calling the withdraw with the name, and I have made that withdraw as a synchronized. Let us run this program and check how the output will be. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm executing Java. So what is the method? What is the, I think the name is SyncEXM. If I'm not wrong, yes. Now in that case, it will be asking one customer to enter the value, and if the value is sufficient, amount of balance is available, then it will be performing the withdraw option, right? I think there is a problem with my system. It is getting yeah. Now see here, it is asking one person. Even though if you see in the program, we have started executing two threads first, but it is as we have made the method as synchronized. So it is asking only one person. So let me give the value of 4,000. So 4,000 is withdrawn and the balance is 1,000, and the second person is now given the chance. So for that person, if I give 1,000, then it can perform 1,000. Why I'm getting insufficient balance? Because I have taken greater than or equal to amount. We need to take, I think I have not saved this one. Okay. Are you understanding? So this is how the operation can be synchronized by using the synchronized block or a synchronized method option also. I hope you all are clear with this concept of how to convert a block into synchronization and how to convert a method into the synchronization. Is this clear to you, all of you? What is the requirement of converting a block of statements or a method into synchronization? Why? Because we want to maintain the inconsistency. We want to maintain the consistency. We want to remove the inconsistency of the data. Where if multiple threads are trying to access the shared resource, there should be a synchronization in between the execution of the threads. I hope you all are clear with this concept of synchronization.